my gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Rooting Mindfully. My name is Iana, and today we are doing my May favorites, so let's just jump into it. Hey guys, like I said, today we are doing my May plant favorites, and as always I picked 5 because for some reason anytime I pick more than 5 I seem to lose count, so let's do it. My first plant, and these are plants that I just look at every single day and just cannot get enough of them. And so my first plant is my Calathea warscewiczii, and I talked about this plant in several videos, but just the velvetiness of this plant is just so amazing, and it is just the softest plant. Like if you love velvet and soft plants, this is just a really nice one to have in your collection. I found that this Calathea really isn't that bad, and it doesn't give me a hard time. Like I mentioned in my last video, I have been giving this plant tap water and it hasn't been freaking out. You can see that the plant is still looking beautiful, the leaves still look nice, and it's even been putting out a ton of growth. And it just really makes me happy, especially because people say that this is a difficult one. And so anytime someone says a plant is difficult and it's growing well in my care, I'm just like, yeah. The only thing with this plant is that it does get dusty. And so I have just been rinsing this plant off at the sink just to get the dust off, because with the velvety kind of furry texture, it does attract dust and it kind of is a little bit difficult to get off the plant. And so I just rinse them off with water, but this is just a nice plant to have. And it's so funny when you see its big leaves stand up for the evening when it starts to pray, and I don't know, so for some reason when I see it, it just like it tickles me. The next plant is a plant that I've tried before and didn't have success with, but this is my Maidenhair fern. As you can see, it has done a ton of growing ever since I've gotten it. It has so much growth and I just really enjoy this plant. I tried this plant before in smaller sizes, and the first time I think it was just too small of a size to try, as well as it was planted in bark, and so it just dried out completely so fast, like every day. And so this one I put my own soil mix in 80-20, and this plant has just been loving life. It really has. And sometimes when I water this plant, I water it completely, and I even leave water sitting in the tray, and it really doesn't mind it. And so this is one of the few plants that I have that will actually let me leave water sitting in the tray and not just completely rot, roots and just tank. In fact, it's been putting out more growth since I've done that. It's been allowing the plant to stay more moisturized. But I really do enjoy how the new growth comes in a lighter green in contrast to the other growth. It just makes this plant look so beautiful. I would enjoy getting a bigger version of this. They have Maidenhair ferns where the leaves are like this big, and they're more of a pink color. I just think that would be so pretty to have, as well as they have variegated versions of Maidenhair ferns. So I think those are 2 that I would probably get in the future, just because I'm just enjoying this plant so much and it hasn't been giving me a hard time, and so I would like to add those 2 varieties to my collection as well. Now this third plant isn't really my favorite, but I wanted to shout this out because I've been struggling with this plant ever since I got it. This is the Anthurium cobra that I got from Ill Exotics, and my mom and I got this plant together. Hers just did not survive. When we got this plant, we did go ahead and repot it because it was really root bound, but when we repotted, the roots just kept snapping like a bag of chips. It just kept cracking off, and so what I did was I just potted mine and I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it for anything. I just kept watering it and watering it. Every time the moisture meter read about a 3, I would just water it. I didn't want to touch the plant. I didn't want to crack any more roots. And so I just left it alone. And so actually when I put this plant outside, it threw out this really nice leaf here. And so you guys know that if you watch my houseplant tour and things like that, you guys know this plant wasn't doing anything, and I was gonna get rid of this plant if it didn't do anything. But I'm just excited that it threw out this leaf, and it hasn't hardened off yet. And so I can't wait to see what it will look like when it's hardened off. But I'm excited that this plant is finally growing. It's doing something. I'm hoping that the roots are, you know, doing a lot better under there. I'm still not going to touch it because I don't want to pop any more roots off, but this just makes me really excited. The only thing that is kind of annoying to me is that now it's off-centered, and so that's just kind of like an OCD kind of thing. But like I said, I'm not touching this plant and risking any more popping of roots. The next plant that I look at every single day is my Maranta Kerchoviana, and this is a green variety. This plant makes me so happy with how luscious it is. It is kind of praying already for the day, but this plant makes me so happy. I've been getting the right amount of light for this one, as you can see with the rabbit tracks, which is its nickname, or the patterning. It's coming out really dark. And I've just been trying to monitor the pattern to make sure I've been getting the right amount of light. But this plant is always throwing out new growth. If you can see here, there's new growth. It is just always throwing out new growth. And this one definitely doesn't give me a hard time. I water this one when it's about a 2 now and not a 3, because when I water it a little bit sooner than that, the leaves do come out a little weird. They come out a little, not marled, but they have this like pattern to them, and that's because when they're rolled up in like the taquito, the water is sitting in the leaf until it unfurls, and so that's what gives it the leaf a weird pattern. And so I've been trying to give this plant a little bit less water than the other prayer plants, just because I noticed it was perspiring or transpiring. And so I've been just, monitoring that. But that's kind of the pattern that the leaves get. I mean, it's not really a big deal, I don't think, but that just lets me know that I can give the plant a little bit less water. And I can't wait till that one's a complete bush. The last plant that is my favorite for this month, and I realize I don't really talk about this plant this often or that often, but this is my Philodendron billietiae, and I'm just enjoying this plant. For the longest time I didn't like this plant because it just really wasn't doing anything for me, and so once I gave it more light, it started putting out more leaves. It did put out this one at first, and then it put out this one, and then it put out this one, and then as you can see, when it was outside, it put out a really nice leaf, and this is by far one of my favorite leaves. And I'm so excited that the leaf is nice and is a nice size. I also like that it's just kind of flush, because you see that they come out any sort of old way, but this one is getting enough light, because you can see that the petiole is a lot shorter than some of these other ones like this one. And so I know that this plant is getting the right amount of light, which I love when plants let you know when you're doing something right. It makes it so much easier to take care of them. But like I said, I really am enjoying this one. I did have to bring my plants inside, and I will do a video on that, but for the time being, this plant will be going back in my windowsill. And I think that's where it will enjoy it. But this leaf hasn't hardened off yet, so I can't wait to see what the final result of the leaf would be. I don't think it would be as shiny. I think it would be a little bit more matte and dark like this one. But I mean, I still love it anyway. And it's a very beautiful plant. But yeah, so that's just a quick video of my favorites for May. You guys seem to enjoy these. kind of videos, and me just talking a little bit more in depth about certain plants, and you know, any struggles or anything that I've had with certain plants. And so yeah, those are my 5 for May. Like I said, I try to pick different plants so it's not always the same. I mean, it's probably not going to be the same anyway because some of my plants do fall out of favor. But yeah, if you're a plant parent, you know, some of your children act up and they have to, you know, they're not your favorite at the time. But anyway, let me know what you guys' favorites are for the month of May in the comment section below. And as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos, liking and subscribing. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.